Today, we have Caitlin Clark making her USA Senior Camp debut. Caitlin Clark basketball slowly yet surely is creeping up.
You can almost hear the record scratch on A'ja Wilson's career right now. A source inside her camp just said this one is hitting her hard. She's not taking it well. And honestly, why would she? A'ja Wilson just got hit with the kind of news that's gonna stick with her. The kind that will probably haunt her for years to come. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom, has officially received a golden ticket, an invitation to Team USA's absolutely critical December training camp. And let me be clear, this is the camp that decides who makes the World Cup and the coveted Olympic rosters. And where's A'ja Wilson in all of this? She's sitting at home watching it all unfold from the sideline. After months, and I mean months, of throwing subtle and not so subtle shade at Clark, Karma just rolled up in a limousine and delivered the ultimate ice-cold reality check. But before we dive deep into this absolute train wreck for Wilson, I need you to drop your honest opinion in the comment. Is A'ja Wilson truly jealous of Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise? Or is she just an old school competitor who doesn't like the new kid on the block? Because what I'm about to lay out for you might just change your mind completely.
It's noise that I don't really listen to, honestly, because I'm in season. I have other things that we need to worry about than what other people have to say. I have a scout, I have 11 other minds on my team and in my locker room that we got to make sure that we're on the same mindset. So I really can't give you the best answer on that because I really don't pay any attention to it. My goal is just to go out there and be the best that I can be for my teammates, both on and off the court, and we're going to go out there and be us.
So let's break down exactly what just happened, because the irony here is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Team USA, with the legendary Sue Bird steering the ship as managing director, just dropped the bombshell announcement of their December training camp roster, which is being held at the prestigious Duke University. Now you have to understand, this is not just some casual get-together where players show up, shoot a few hoops, and go home. This camp is the crucible. This is where the future of American basketball is forged. It determines everything. Who will wear the red, white, and blue for the 2026 World Cup? More importantly, who will get the honor of being selected for the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles? This is the very stage where legends are made and careers are defined for a generation. And guess who got the golden invitation? Front and center, none other than Caitlin Clark. And guess who was conspicuously absent from that list? You guessed it, A'ja Wilson.
I love Caitlin Clark. Yes. There's no... I think she's amazing. I watched every time I possibly could. And our league loves her. This has nothing to do. We're just doing our job. We're gonna show up. Who is ever on the other team is on the other team. We don't really care. We're gonna show up and do us. And so I think this narrative of like everybody hating on Caitlin Clark, and even the black and white thing, knock it off. It's not there. It's not there. So shut down the noise. And by the way, what's she, 22? She's a 22-year-old woman with a lot of pressure.
She's not perfect.
She's not perfect. She's a rookie in...
Just let that sink in for a moment. Take a deep breath and really process the magnitude of this. The very same A'ja Wilson, who has spent the better part of the last year taking veiled shots at Clark, launching petty social media campaigns that reeked of desperation, and trying with all her might to convince the world that she's just as marketable and just as valuable as Clark, has just been left off the single most important roster in all of women's basketball. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is packing her bags and preparing to fly to Duke to cement her status as the undeniable face of Team USA for the next decade. You couldn't script a more perfect example of karma if you tried. This is the stuff of sports movie.
Affirmation of the delusion and the insanity of black women. But Nike has this gift in Caitlin Clark. Women's basketball, this gift in Caitlin Clark.
Now let's look at the roster for this camp, because it reads like a who's who of the absolute future of women's basketball. You've got Caitlin Clark, obviously. You have Paige Beckers, who is making her highly anticipated senior national team debut. The unstoppable Juju Watkins, another rising superstar who is taking the world by storm. And of course, Angel Reese is on the list, because you know they want to keep that incredible Clark-Reese rivalry cooking on the international stage. Add in Cameron Brink and Aaliyah Boston, both unbelievably skilled talents, plus Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young to bring that veteran leadership. This is Team USA's blueprint for the next era of global dominance in women's basketball, and A'ja Wilson is absolutely nowhere to be found on it. Now, before Wilson's fans come rushing to her defense in the comments, let's be crystal clear about what this decision actually means. This isn't about questioning Wilson's talent as a basketball player. Nobody is denying that she has been an elite force in the WNBA. She's got the MVPs, she's won the championships, she's been a dominant presence in the league for years. But here's the cold hard truth. Being good at basketball simply isn't enough anymore for Team USA. They need players who can be ambassadors for American basketball on the world stage. They need players who can attract massive global audiences. They need players who can elevate the entire program, not just with their stats, but with their star power. And right now, Caitlin Clark does all of those things better than anyone else in women's basketball, and that very much includes A'ja Wilson. Sue Bird didn't make this call on a whim. She is one of the greatest players in the history of the sport and, arguably, possesses the sharpest basketball mind in the women's game. She knows what it takes to win at the highest international level. She knows what kind of players thrive in FIBA competition, and she knows precisely what Team USA needs to not only maintain its dominance, but also to grow the global appeal of women's basketball. When Bird looks at Caitlin Clark, she sees the total package. When she looks at the current situation with Wilson, she apparently sees something that just doesn't fit the blueprint of what they're building. And let's talk about what they're building, because this context is crucial for understanding why Clark got the invite, and Wilson didn't. Team USA isn't just trying to win games anymore, they're trying to grow the entire sport on a global scale. They are laser focused on attracting new fans, maximizing their commercial appeal, and leveraging their massive platform to elevate women's basketball worldwide. Clark brings all of that to the table organically. Her games shatter viewership records. Her jersey sales absolutely obliterate everyone else's numbers. Her social media engagement dwarfs that of every other player in the league. Major corporations are lining up to partner with her. A whole new generation of kids wants to play basketball because they've watched her. That is the kind of seismic impact Team USA wants at the very center of their program.
Yeah, she's pretty incredible. I mean, you watch her and it's unguardable. There's nothing anybody can do to stop it. Like, she's just that dominant, whether it's her mid-range game, she can put it on the floor. She's just so athletic, but also she affects the game on both ends. Like, she's a really good defensive player, great rim protector, just so athletic, and obviously been able to shoot the three pretty well this year too. So it's fun to watch. I mean, like I said, like, everybody in the league knows you can't guard it. You basically just live with what she's going to do to you every single night. It's just you contain it as best you can, and she's going to make some shots that are really tough. And like I said, like it's going to be a tall task. It's going to take multiple people. You just hope to contain it the best you can.
Now let's hit rewind and talk about how we actually got to this point, because A'ja Wilson's reaction to Clark's meteoric rise has been one long, cringeworthy display of what many are calling jealousy and deep-seated insecurity. It all started with the Nike deal. When Clark signed her groundbreaking endorsement contract with Nike, one of the biggest deals in the entire history of women's sports, Wilson just couldn't let Clark have her moment. Oh no, Wilson had to immediately launch her I Have a Shoe Too campaign, frantically posting pictures of her own Nike sneakers all over social media, looking like a little kid demanding attention at someone else's birthday party. The desperation was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Instead of celebrating a monumental win for all of women's basketball and recognizing that a deal of Clark's size helps lift all female athletes, Wilson made it about herself, and she looked incredibly petty while doing it. Then came the endless stream of cryptic social media posts. "What is delayed is not denied" became Wilson's go-to mantra, a phrase she posted over and over again as Clark's star continued to ascend into the stratosphere. The implication couldn't have been clearer. Wilson believed she was the one who deserved that same level of recognition and commercial success as Clark, and she was just biding her time. The only problem, that moment never, because while Wilson was busy posting inspirational quotes about patience, Clark was out there actually earning her success through unparalleled performance, a magnetic personality, and an unprecedented impact on the sport. The Time Athlete of the Year award, however, seems to be what really broke Wilson. When Caitlin Clark became the first women's basketball player ever to win this prestigious honor, Wilson's social media activity went into absolute overdrive. She started liking posts that directly questioned whether whether Clark even deserved the award. She shared content that suggested other athletes were more worthy. The salt was flowing at levels that would make the Dead Sea look like a freshwater lake. Instead of seeing this as a massive moment for women's basketball, with one of their own getting major mainstream recognition, Wilson chose to be bitter about someone else's achievement. Then, in a truly baffling move, Wilson tried to claim that she makes the same speaking fees as Clark. Let's just pause and truly appreciate how completely delusional that statement is. Caitlin Clark is the single most sought-after athlete in women's sports right now. Companies are throwing obscene amounts of money at her just to show up at their event. She can command fees that no other female athlete, with the possible exception of Serena Williams, has ever been able to demand. And Wilson wants us all to believe she's in the same financial stratosphere. The claim was so patently ridiculous that it actually made people feel sorry for Wilson, because it exposed just how deeply insecure she is about Clark's commercial dominance. Every single milestone Clark achieved seemed to trigger another Wilson meltdown. Clark breaks rookie record. Wilson posts about veteran experience and paying dues. Clark leads her team to the playoffs. Wilson talks about championship pedigree. Clark gets featured in mainstream media. Wilson complains about media bias. The pattern was both exhausting and painfully transparent. Wilson simply could not let Clark enjoy a single moment of success without trying to either diminish it or desperately redirect the attention back to herself. And now, here we are. The ultimate validation of everything Clark has accomplished, and the ultimate rejection of Wilson's entire approach. Team USA looked at these two incredible players, evaluated their skills, their leadership, their marketability, and their overall fit with the program's future, and they chose Clark. And they didn't just choose Clark, they pointedly left Wilson at home. That's not a neutral decision. That is an active statement about where Team USA sees the future of women's basketball heading. The coaching staff for this camp includes WNBA coaches Kara Lawson, Natalie Nakase, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White. These are not people who make emotional decisions. They are seasoned professional basketball minds who evaluate talent with cold, hard objectivity. They've watched both Clark and Wilson play at the highest level. They've seen how Clark elevates her teammates, how she performs under immense pressure, how she handles her media responsibilities with grace, and how she represents the sport. And they've apparently seen whatever Wilson has been doing and decided it's not what they need right now. Adding another layer of intrigue, Clark's teammate Aaliyah Boston will be at this camp too, which creates a fascinating dynamic. Clark and Boston developed an incredible on-court chemistry during their time together with the Indiana Fever. Boston's defensive prowess and interior scoring are the perfect complement to Clark's perimeter brilliance. You can bet the Team USA coaches are going to be watching that partnership very closely, because if it translates to international competition the way it did in the WNBA, those two could be the bedrock of Team USA's lineup for years to come. Meanwhile, Wilson is at home watching her former teammate prepare to build international chemistry with someone else. The sheer young talent at this camp is extraordinary. Paige Bueckers is one of the most skilled players to come out of college basketball in a decade. Juju Watkins is already being compared to the sport's all-time greats. These players represent the next wave of American basketball excellence, and they are all coming into this camp as Caitlin Clark's peers and potential teammates. Not Ajo Wilson. That generational shift in focus has to sting for Wilson, who probably envisioned herself as the veteran leader who would guide these young players. Instead, Clark gets to step into that role. What's truly interesting is how profoundly different Clark and Wilson are in their approach to success and recognition. Clark constantly deflects praise to her teammates. She talks about team accomplishments over individual awards. Her social media is all about celebrating others and promoting the sport. When she wins, she's gracious. When she loses, she takes responsibility. That authenticity is what resonates with millions of fans, and clearly with the decision makers at Team USA. Wilson, on the other hand, has made everything about herself. Her posts are centered on her achievements, her recognition, her status. When things don't go her way, there's always an excuse or someone else to blame. That me-first approach might work when you're the undisputed top dog, but it becomes a massive problem when someone else starts getting more attention. The commercial aspect of this decision cannot be overstated either. Team USA exists in a business environment, just like any other major sports organization. They need sponsorships, they need lucrative broadcast deals, they need to sell tickets. Clark brings all of that in ways that Wilson simply does not. Clark's Nike deal reel it genuine mainstream buzz. Her television appearances spike ratings, her games sell out entire arenas. Her social media posts generate engagement that most professional sports franchises would kill for. When international broadcasters are at the negotiating table for the rights to Team USA games, they are going to pay a premium if Caitlin Clark is on that roster. That's just simple economic reality. Forbes recognized Clark's massive business impact by including her on their prestigious 30 Under 30 list. That recognition didn't come just because she's a good basketball player, it came because Clark transcends her sport. She is a cultural phenomenon who drives consumer behavior across multiple industries. Wilson has never achieved that level of crossover appeal. She's a basketball player who is phenomenal at basketball. Clark is a cultural force who also happens to play basketball. There is a massive difference between those two things, and Team USA clearly understands which one serves their long-term interests better. Clark's crossover into the world of golf has been genuinely remarkable. The LPGA Tour has embraced her. Professional golfers are lining up to play with her. Golf brands want to sponsor her. She's bringing basketball fans to golf tournaments and golf fans to basketball games. That's the kind of multi-sport influence that expands everyone's audience. Wilson has never generated that kind of interest in any sport outside of basketball. She is one-dimensional in her appeal, and that fundamentally limits her value to organizations that are trying to grow their global reach. The viewing numbers don't lie. Clark's games consistently drew higher ratings than any other WNBA player this season. Streaming services saw massive subscription spikes when her team played. Road arenas that normally sat half empty were sold out weeks in advance when Clark came to town. Local businesses near visiting arenas reported huge increases in revenue on Clark game day. She literally created economic activity wherever she went. Wilson's games draw solid, respectable numbers, but they have never created the same kind of economic tidal wave or cultural moment that Clark's appearances generate on a nightly basis. Now Wilson has to sit at home and watch Clark prepare for the very opportunities that define international basketball careers. The 2026 World Cup gives Clark a global stage to showcase her skills against the best players from every continent. The 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles will be played in front of adoring home crowds who will absolutely lose their minds watching Clark lead Team USA. These are the moments that turn great players into immortal legends. These are the stages that athletes dream about their entire career, and Caitlin Clark gets to experience them all, while A'ja Wilson watches from her couch on television. The roster construction for this camp sends a clear message. Team USA is building its future around Clark for the long term. They are surrounding her with young, dynamic talent who can grow with her over the next Olympic cycle. They are creating chemistry now that will pay massive dividends for years to come. This isn't about one tournament or one competition. This is about laying the foundation for Team USA's next dynasty. And Caitlin Clark is the cornerstone of that foundation, not A'ja Wilson. In the end, Wilson's months of jealous behavior and petty social media campaigns have completely and spectacularly backfired. Every single attempt she made to diminish Clark's accomplishments only served to highlight her own insecurity. Every cryptic post only made her look more desperate for attention. Every claim about her own success only emphasized just how much further ahead Clark already is in terms of impact and influence. Wilson tried to tear Caitlin Clark down, and in the process, she ended up exposing her own weaknesses to the world. The coaching staff at this camp will evaluate every single aspect of these players' games: their skills, their leadership, their coachability, their chemistry with teammates, and their ability to handle the brightest of spotlight. Clark will excel in all of those areas because she has been doing it at the highest level since her days in college. She knows how to perform when the world is watching, she knows how to make her teammates better, and she knows how to represent the sport with class and professionalism. Those qualities matter just as much as points per game or rebounds when Team USA is making their final roster decisions. So there you have it. A'ja Wilson spent months trying to convince everyone that she's on Caitlin Clark's level, and Team USA just answered that question definitively. What do you think? Is this decision fair, or did Wilson get royally snubbed? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more coverage of this unfolding drama, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.